We are at one of the meccas of motorsport, Spa, Belgium, and joining us this weekend, Oliver Eriksson. Listen, Oliver, if you're going to take part in a World Rallycross event, this has got to be a bucket list place to come. It's so special.
Yeah, it's a fantastic event. You know, all the history that is here. And you know, they made some few changes to the track. So yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
I think we are set for an absolute corker. But before we get into the technicalities of what's to come, let's take a look back at what happened last time out. It marked the first double-header weekend of the 2021 World RX season. 2 rounds in 2 days. And for Niklas Gronholm, who hasn't had the most prosperous start to the year, it saw a resurgence in form. It was neck and neck between himself and Johan Kristoffersson throughout all of Saturday's action, with Gronholm just missing out on pole position for the final to the Swedes' Audi S1. But no one could prepare themselves for what came next.
And there is the green for go, and Gronholm gets a flying start. Kristoffersson, and Kristoffersson is out.
Contact between the two going into turn 1 saw Kristoffersson fired into the wall, leaving Gronholm clear to take his first victory of the year. The Hansen brothers were there to pick up the remaining podium positions, Timmy in second and Kevin in third. The big loser from Saturday's action, Johan Kristoffersson. Sunday marked round 5 of the championship, a full system reset and all to play for again. Niklas Gronholm brimming with confidence after his win 24 hours earlier and happy with the way his GRX Hyundai was working, he eventually stuck it on pole for the final.
Kristoffersson keeps the early race line in the Audi S1 and is the leader.
It had been a good day too for Johan Kristoffersson. After his woes on Saturday, the Swede bounced back in spectacular fashion and qualified on the front row, once again alongside Gronholm. The action had been non-stop all weekend going into turn 1, and Kristoffersson knew that he had to be leading coming out of the first turn to be in with a realistic chance of getting the job done.
Kristoffersson goes around the outside. Kristoffersson looks to take the early lead.
A blinding start, and he did just that. Around the outside into the lead, and from that moment on he controlled the race from start to finish, with Gronholm second and Timmy Hansen, who has finished on the podium at every round so far this year, in third. But finally, after so much bad luck and controversy, Johan Kristoffersson back on the top step of the podium. While Timmy Hansen continues to lead by 17 points from younger brother Kevin, Kristoffersson has clawed himself right back into this year's championship fight. He lies third, just 3 points further back. Then comes Niklas Gronholm, second to fourth, covered by just 6 points. Spa this weekend will be a big one. Our first double-header of the season, and what a weekend it was. Listen, Oliver, let's start with Niklas Gronholm. Brilliant to see him finally showing his true pace.
Yeah, it's exactly what we talked about in Loriac. It's always been there. They just needed to minimize the mistakes, and they did it, got away with it.
It was fantastic as well to see Johan Kristoffersson, who, let's face it, has had a fairly miserable year up until that point on Sunday when he finally took the top step of the podium.
I think it was a big relief for him as well, you know, for confidence and everything. Having a season where it all goes wrong, it kind of goes out throughout the whole season, but he managed to stop it, I think, now, you know, get the win, get it off his shoulder, and can just keep on digging from there.
Yeah, and that's the word, and he needs to dig now for his championship. We'll hear from Johan Kristoffersson a little bit later on in the show. As well, very quickly, I want to get your impressions on Timmy Hansen, because he's starting to edge ever closer to that championship. Do you think he'll be starting to feel a little bit of pressure now?
No, you know, he's a champion since before. He won it back in 2019. He got the point gap now to play with. You know, he's mature enough. He's done it before. So, yeah, he just need to maintain it. And, yeah, if anyone can do it, I think it's Timmy. Whatever
happens, this weekend is a big weekend for the Hansen brothers and Johan Kristoffersson. As well, Niklas Gronholm, who still can technically win this year's championship. Moving on, something completely different. Laia Sanz is here this weekend. We'd normally see her hacking through the desert on 2 wheels, but she's here in an RX 2E car, taking part in World Rallycross. Laia, here we are, Spa. This is not a desert, and you are not here on 2 wheels. Competing this weekend in World Rallycross in the RX2E class. What was it that made you decide, do you know what, I'm going to go and have a go at that?
It was because I'm involved in Extreme E, and I'm a junior on four wheels, so I need to learn. I need to get used to fight with other cars, so here is perfect, I think. It's really short races, really nice to learn how to do it.
It's like a shot, isn't it? It's the polar opposite to the Dakar, which is a marathon. This is like, you get it right for 3 or 4 laps, that's your lot, done.
That's what I need to learn, and in Dakar I'm more used to endurance races. Also in tarmac I did some endurance races, but here is completely different. You need to be really fast from the beginning, and that's why I'm here.
You haven't had a lot of experience in the RX2E car. I know you've done a little bit of testing, but not a lot. So how have you found it? How have you found the preparation for this weekend?
I did some laps. I did like 10, 12 laps before coming here, and the car feels great. It's like a go-kart, really sensible and really nice to drive. And here today we did already some practice and the first quali, so I'm progressing. That's the important thing. I was a bit unlucky in the first quali with jump start.
Oh, and there's a lack of experience already shown, and it's from 44, Laia Sainz.
It's all about learning, isn't it? That's the main thing. What is it that you want to get out of this weekend? Come tomorrow night. What is it that you want to achieve?
I want to be a better driver after here. That's the main goal. And of course, when I'm in the piste with the helmet on, I want to try to do my best. And of course, I'm competitive, but I need to be realistic. I know I'm here to learn, and all these guys are always here competing with this kind of races. So that's the goal, to be better after this.
There's a little bit of you that wants to get a result, though, isn't there? Let's face it, you are a competitor.
Yeah, of course, but it's like this, and it's perfect to learn and to learn how to fight with other cars in the piste. So,
most importantly, are you enjoying it?
A lot.
That's the main thing. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Brilliant to see Laia here this weekend. Listen, Oliver, how difficult is it to get hold of one of these RX2E cars? Because, you know, it's very, very new for her.
Yeah, for sure. She doesn't have that much experience on 4 wheels, you know. She's done her whole career really in 2 wheels. So, but I've seen her drive before, you know. She does the Extreme E. We had a test a couple of days with me and my brother Kevin up in Sweden a year ago now. So she can drive for sure, and I think she'll get the grips of it pretty quick.
There's no questioning her pace, but let's face it, there's an awful lot of competition in RX2E, and they've all got a lot more experience. Laia says she's just here to learn and to have some fun, but as she also said at the end of that interview, she's a competitor and she will be wanting a result.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's a spec series, RX2E as well. You know, all cars are the same. So it's really down to the details. And obviously some guys that has done some races before, they've figured it out faster, so to say. But you know, it's Rallycross. It's in the end a lottery, you know, get the grid position, get through turn 1. So I think she can navigate pretty well there and yeah, get some results.
Yeah, it's brilliant to have Laia here competing in RX2E this weekend, and hopefully we'll see more of her on the World Rallycross calendar next year. Now, earlier on, Oliver and myself were talking about Johan Kristoffersen and how it's been a difficult year for him. Well, I sat down with him to get an idea of how things look from his point of view. Johan, here we are, Spa. Time is running out this year, and you have had, at best, a controversial year. The pace has been there, but luck hasn't. Just go right back to the start in Barcelona and just take us through your year, please.
Well, it started off very good in Barcelona. In Q1, we won that one. Managed to win Q2 as well, so full score at day 1. So it was very, very good. And then, unfortunately, there was an infringement with the FIA logger, so we got disqualified from Q1. We came to Höljes, and then I ran into double puncher.
Oh, and here's the drama of the day! Oh, disaster for the reigning world champion!
So I had to retire from semi-final. So then was like, okay, it's gonna be a bit more tricky, but yeah, we'll do our best. And came to France, everything was looking very promising, and then we snapped the drive shaft. So we didn't manage to start the final there, and then we came to Riga, double header. So Saturday was running pretty smoothly, and then me and Niklas had a tangle.
He's out!
One of those unfortunate things that happen sometimes, and this year seems to be one of those years when I have all of it at the same time. But then we strike back on Sunday. I managed to win our first victory together with EKSJC.
Kristoffersen takes his first win of the season.
What was the feeling like when finally on Sunday you're on the top step of the podium? Were you like, yes, finally we've done it?
Yeah, it was a little bit like that. It's like finally standing here at the top spot again. That was a relief, I have to say.
The pace has been mind-blowing throughout the entire year, and that is definitely a positive for the entirety of 2021.
Yeah, I think everything is much easier when you have pace. Everything's gonna just sort out much easier. It's just that sometimes it's just not meant to be. Like if that drive shaft would have snapped in France a couple of laps earlier, we would have had it in Q4 and I would still be able to be top qualifier. Now we didn't. You cannot say why, and it's just how it is. But this weekend will be very important. We'll just have to really try and squeeze out the maximum out of our package. I obviously cannot afford to do any mistakes. So just try to stay neat and tidy. But in the end, you know, we can only focus on ourselves and try to maximize our performance. And then, yeah, we'll see how far that will take us.
You think you can reel Timmy in?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That'll do. So there you go. That's what Johan Kristoffersson thinks. And I think, Oliver, the first thing that you can take from that interview is how positive he is. He's still in such a positive frame of mind about the year.
Yeah, he's just that type of guy, you know. He never gives up. As I said, you know, he's a multi-championship in different series. He's probably been in this position before that I don't know of. So, yeah, he can turn this around.
I think it's a real mark of the man as well, because it's not that his pace has been in question. It's just been that luck has just been totally against him, and that makes it even more frustrating.
That's Rallycross as well, you know. You need luck at some points. You need to stick your nose in at the right time, and sometimes, yeah, you bounce wrong, and yeah, that's been his season so far.
I think this weekend, unquestionably, and he sort of alluded to it at the end of his interview there, was that this is a very, very important weekend for him to get right.
Yeah, for sure it is. You know, getting the Q1 draw, only that specific thing is so important here. Yeah, just starting off at the right, you know, pace and getting, you know, through Q1 without any trouble, and you know, just keep nagging lap times. It's challenging, but yeah, it's important.
There's no question Johan Kristoffersson will be looking to do the double. Can he take the win here in Spa? It's a tricky lap though, and here to take us around it is Kevin Hansen.
Hi guys, Kevin Hansen here, and we're at Spa-Francorchamps for round 6 of the World Championship. Behind me you see the start line. 5 abreast going into turn 1, and it's really a very good turn 1 because you can send it around the outside if you have a good start on the outside, and take your line if you're starting first if you have a good start. When you get to the exit of the corner, you head up towards Eau Rouge. So we're here at Eau Rouge, a super famous motorsport corner, probably the famous corner in the world. And halfway up this corner, we do a 180 degrees hairpin, head down the hill again and to the Joker split. So here at exit of turn 3, and we have the Joker lap and the main track just next to each other. You can see the racing of the cars just side by side as we go through the different lines. And this is also the gravel section of the track. Very, very stiff gravel, just like Riga and Loyac. So it's a new surface for this year. It will be super interesting to see how it holds up. So we're at the finish line, and here's where we merge from the Joker lap and the normal track, coming to a jump, jumping side by side just onto the finish line. Super interesting end of the lap, because you need to look at where your competitor is on the outside line when you're in the Joker and try to squeeze him out, get in front of him just by the finish. This jump is actually one of the biggest of the year. Quite fast, quite long, and quite a nice landing also as it's steep down. Coming over the finish line, end of the lap, a beautiful track and a beautiful race.
So that's what we're in for this afternoon. And Oliver, as always, I'm sure it's going to get pretty naughty through turn 1 at the top of the hill at the hairpin at Eau Rouge.
Yeah, turn 1 here is fairly quick. So if all cars make it through, they're going to head for the funnel up in turn 2. So yeah, it's going to be tight.
The other thing that we've noticed, and we saw it throughout qualifying, was how much of a difference the Joker lap makes here.
It's a fairly long separation, you know. It takes up almost half the track in distance, but the time difference is only about 2 to 3 seconds. So yeah, we see how that strategy plays out.
Well, we are pretty much ready to go here for round 6 of the World Rallycross Championship. If you are watching on YouTube, you need to cross over now live to Red Bull TV for all the action as we join our live commentators.
Hello and welcome to round 6 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship from the iconic racetrack of Spa-Francorchamps in eastern Belgium. Benelux World RX was designed and made its debut in 2019, becoming an immediate success with teams and fans as part of this scenic racetrack in the Ardennes Valley.